Hello everyone, Tina here. Welcome to Try It Out Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, for Try It Out Tuesday, we're going to make a Valentine's Day card. Now, I thought maybe for Try It Out Tuesdays this year that I'd go more towards the stash that I have on hand versus buying something new. Gosh, everything's just getting so expensive now, and I thought this would be a great day to pull from what we already have. Granted, I do have a basket full of goodies that I want to share with you, so I will bring in some new stuff. But for the most part, today's project is going to be using some items we have that I have in my stash. So, with the exception of this is the background stamp from Simon, and it's new. It just came out with last month's release. It's the To the Moon release. I haven't had a chance to play with it, but I love the background chevron print. In fact, it's called Chevron Pattern, and I will be using this to create a background for our card today. But everything else I've had in my stash for quite a while, and so that's what we're going to be using today to create a card full of love. Oh, and before I go, I do want to mention too that I've been trying to do a videos without doing a voiceover or speeding up the videos. So you're going to be hearing more crinkling because I'm doing it in real time. I'm going to attempt to. I'm not going to promise every video I can do that, but let me know what you think about me doing it in real time, or if you prefer me editing the videos, you know, cutting out some stuff and just getting straight to the point, or if you like the real-time videos, please let me know, and I will adjust accordingly. With that being said, I am going to set my coffee aside so I don't spill it on anything, and we're going to start off by doing some stamping with our background stamp. Okay, I kind of have a plan. I've been loving teals and reds and pinks, so that's what we're going to go for today. We're going to open up our chevron pattern, and we're going to stamp this directly on our card base. Our card base today is going to be a standard A2 size card base, and it is indexed, which is really nice. I'm going to grab my Misty, my stamping positioner. I already took my mouse pad out, and I'm going to go ahead and place it a little bit towards the center. And I guess it'd help if we flipped it around. Do we want it going? We'll go. Okay, we're going to place our background stamp in our Misty. Pick it up with the lid here. And then I'm going to grab my card base, which again is the standard A2 size card base. I'm going to make sure it flip opens the right way. And then what I like to do is kind of position it where I want it on the background stamp, making sure my lines are all straight. Since these have straight lines, you want to definitely make sure that your lines are straight. And then I'm going to grab my tape runner and add some adhesive. This tape runner actually I can remove, so I put a pretty good amount on there, but I can remove it with a gummy eraser or my hand. I'm going to press down really good, and then we're going to flip over the Misty and press down good a little bit more. And then we are perfectly positioned for doing a little stamping. I am going to tack this closed a little bit. For my ink, actually, we need to do a redo because I want to do a horizontal card. So let's do a redo. We're going to lay this down here, kind of centering it better. Okay, for my ink, I'm going to be using a gray ink. This is London Fog. And I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Go ahead and close the lid. I took my tape off to clean my Misty. I'm going to grab my pressure tool here. These are really handy. Let's see how this did. And we have a little bit of an area over here. I'm going to go ahead and try and get that nice and good to go. Okay, now, again, this one is London Fog. I'm going to take my Memento tuxedo black. And then I'm going to go over just the bottom portion, kind of do a gradient with this pattern. So we have a light gray and it's going to fade to black. At least that's my theory, and I'm hoping. For the most part, we're going to cover the background, but I thought a gradient would be really nice. And I love the way that turned out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean off my stamp. And then we'll take our card base out. I'm going to see if you can see that gradient. Worked out really good. Okay, we are good to go for our background. Now what we're going to do is do a little bit of die cutting. Now I have a piece of vellum and then also some red cardstock, and then we also have some white cardstock, and then we have some Nina 80-pound cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and take one of my scalloped rectangle dies, and we're going to die cut out a background panel with not the Nina 80-pound, but with the regular white cardstock that I use. And then we have our love. This is a nice set, and it actually coordinates with the stamp set. Let me show you. And it's just called Love, and you have the shadow, and then you have the regular love. I'll die cut out the love with red cardstock, kind of a rich red, and then the outline with the vellum. The nice thing about this die is it coordinates with the Love stamp set. I think this comes in a bundle. If Simon has either or the bundle, I'll list it down below, but it's a really nice set to have. You have all these secondary sentiments that go with Love. So we are going to go ahead and die cut those out, and then I need a heart, and my magnet stuck to. I better put that over there on my Misty, or I promise I'll never find it. Okay, two more die sets that I've had in my stash for a while. This one is called Lil Gnome Wafer die, and we are going to use this. It has an outline of the gnome, and then it also has the gnome that each little piece will cut out. We're going to die cut that out here. And then I've used this recently. This is the Heart of Roses die. Really, really pretty. I'm going to die cut this out with some teal. This is actually Spellbinder's Color Essential cardstock. It's the waterfall. And I'm going to die cut this out. Okay, once I have everything die cut, we're going to start off by, let's go ahead and adhere our love to our vellum. And I'm just going to use my glue. Actually, I'm going to use my little glue wand. It's perfect for this. Make sure you get those smaller, intricate areas here so it doesn't lift up. And then we'll adhere this to our vellum love. Best thing about glue is you have time to kind of move it around for the placement. Hold it down a little bit so it attaches, and then our love is good to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and prep this so we can finish off the card later on, and I'm going to prep it with some foam tape. This is 3M foam tape that I cut into very thin strips, and I'm going to put it along, actually not the L, but maybe the O. The L's going to overhang on my the L will overhang on my heart here, and we will do the E, and then that is ready to adhere. Okay, next we're going to take our heart. Isn't that so pretty? I'm going to go ahead and take some more Nina cardstock. This is 80 pound, and let's add a little adhesive behind here. we're going to do that anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. I just want to tack it down to my Nina cardstock, and then I'll take a pencil and we are going to outline our heart. Set this aside. Now once we have our outline of our heart, we are eventually going to trim it down, but I want to add a little color, and I'm going to be using my Weathered Wood Distress Oxide ink and my blending tool. And I'm going to add a little gradient from the bottom corner up. You could do this before. I don't want to go all the way to the top. I want to leave some white area. You could do this before or after you trim this. This is going to go behind our heart. But once we have that corner done, I want to add a little bit more of a gradient, almost like what we did with our background, but this time I'm just going to be using my blending brush that has my black soot distress ink on it, and I'm going to add a little bit of a darker gradient. And I think, kind of went a little crazy there. Okay. I think that looks really pretty. After we have this done, I'm going to use my scissors, following along the cut line. On the inside of the cut line would work better. That way you don't have to do no trimming with it. And we'll just cut this out. Kind of lost my line there, so I'm hoping I cut it right. Okay, now I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to adhere this to the front of our heart here. I'm going to let it dry though. Oxide ink has a tendency to not want to adhere. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of coloring with our gnome. Let's zoom in. And I'm going to grab my little portable craft mat here. I like that they have a background that you can add it to. So let's separate these. So you have let's punch out these. You have the little gnome outfit. I don't know if it's a dress, a shirt, or what, so we're going to call it an outfit. And then we have the nose, the hat, and then the beard. And I have some Copic markers here. We're going to start off with our little gnome outfit. I'm going to use some teals. This is BG 78. And I'm just going to add a little color. Quick coloring, guys. Nothing fancy because we're not editing it. And then I'm going to add BG 72. Go down a little bit, blending these two together. And then we're going to add BG 10. Kind of blend those. And we're going to create a gradient here. So that's good to go. And then we're going to next color in his nose. I have E11. We'll go all around the nose with the E11. Add a little bit of shading underneath here with E13, and then we'll blend it together with E11, and then our nose is good to go. And then we're not going to do much with the beard. I'm just going to add a little shading underneath the nose. And that's it for that. And then I have a container that's metal, so that's the clanging that you hear. I have my markers that I want to use over here. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of gradient with some rosy reds. This is R32, and I'm going to go along the left side of this little guy's hat all the way to the tip. We'll go underneath too, do a little flicking motion underneath. And then we're going to add R21. kind of blend them both together. Okay, and then we're going to add a lightest, which is R20, and go over the whole hat. I love these little rosy colors. I do want to intensify the darker pink over here a little bit, so I'll take my darkest red, which is R32, and then we're going to add a little bit more color along the edge here, just to give it in the bottom too. Flick it up a little bit more. And I think that's going to work out perfect. Okay, now we get to put this guy together. Let's remove them from my messy little portable craft mat. And then to do this, it's very easy. We're going to start off by flipping over our outfit. We're going to add some adhesive behind it. Tack that to the bottom. It leaves a little bit of a white border. I love that. You see that? Then what we're going to do is add our beard. Flip it over, but I am going to add foam adhesive to our beard. Let's see. And then this is going to go lovely. For the nose, I think we're going to need some smaller foam squares. So I'm going to trim down these two bottom ones. And then I'm going to use my tool-in one to pick it up. And this is going to go, sometimes I find it easier bringing the foam adhesive to the paper and versus bringing the foam adhesive behind the nose area. I'm going to go ahead and add one more because I want my nose to be one level higher than the rest. And then we'll go ahead and add our nose. The nose. Hope it's not blurry, guys. Sorry. Now we're going to add our hat. Hat, we just want one level. And I think we can get away with a large one and then a couple small ones here. Okay, we'll just remove the release paper and we will go ahead and add this to our little gnome. And that is our gnome's done. Good to go. Ain't he cute? I just think he's adorable. Okay, we're going to zoom back out. And now all we have left to do is put together our card. I'm going to add a little bit more adhesive behind my my heart with my tape runner. If you wanted to use glue, you could, but sometimes tape runner is easy. I'm going to add this to our background heart. Now we're going to add some foam adhesive behind here. The pencil mark. And then we're going to add, we're going to go ahead and add our scallop panel to our card base, just using our tape runner. Kind of centering it. Lovely. And I'm going to flip this around and remove the adhesive off the back. And I'm going to tap this in my garbage can. Okay, now let's add our hearts. Let's figure out where we want to put this here. I think that's a good spot. I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive behind our gnome. And I'm going to add a small foam square over here on this side. This side's going to be overhanging. So let's see how this goes. Lovely. Next, we're going to take our love. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to kind of place it. I'm going to have to remove the adhesive off of the O. This is going to overlap on our heart. But I do want to stamp the rest of our sentiment. So I'm taking the sentiment, the love stamp set, and I want a word that will fit right in here. I'm going to use an acrylic block and pick this up, and I'm going to use my dark London Fog ink to stamp the rest of my sentiment. I need to stand up, so love you always. Perfect. And I'm actually going to move over our heart a little bit more. Better. Now I'm going to add adhesive behind the L and the O using the tape runner. And I'll remove the release paper off of those thin strips that we added behind the V and the E. And then we'll add this. Lovely. Okay, now we just need some bells and whistles. I have some clear little, well, these are iridescent snow crystals from Studio Katia, and then I also have some little puffy hearts. I've had these forever. I think I picked these up at Walmart. Little goes a long way with these little puffy hearts. But I want to definitely add a little red heart. I think it's doesn't flow right. Let's do a polka dot one maybe. Yeah, polka dot's nice. We'll put it just on the bottom of our little gnome's cap. And then we're going to add a few sequins here and there. Or gems, I should say. I'm going to grab one of my little triangles. And our last one. Just put this back. And then put these back. The whole purpose was that of the triangle was so it's easily funneled back into our little container. Well, I kind of flubbed that one, didn't I? No worries. Okay. That finishes off my card for Try It Out Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed it. I love the little gnome. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, let me know if you like the voiceovers. The videos are running longer, but let me know if you like it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.